Hermann Göring fell into American hands following his own fall from grace in April 1945. After seeing Hitler for the last time on the Führer's birthday, 20th of April 1945, Göring packed up his vast collection of art treasures and personal baggage from his main residence at Hall and headed south to the comparative safety of the Obersalzberg, a mountain village in southern Bavaria. At Mautendorf Castle in Austria, on the 7th of May 1945, Göring tried to reach the US lines, hoping to be seen as the legitimate leader of Germany following Hitler's death. Göring was made a prisoner by the Americans and forced to remove all his medals and decorations, a humiliation designed to ensure that Göring would be treated as a war criminal and not as a soldier. At the Nuremberg trials, Göring was charged with conspiracy, waging a war of aggression, war crimes including plundering artworks, and crimes against humanity including the torture and ill treatment of prisoners of war and the murder and enslavement of civilians in reference to the Holocaust. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. Göring was tested and had an IQ of 138, and he knew that he would eventually be put to death. But he was determined to go down fighting and launched a vigorous defense from the stand. On the 30th of September 1946, the sentences were passed after a trial lasting 218 days. It was no surprise to anyone, not least Göring, when he was found guilty on all 4 counts and sentenced to death by hanging. He had expected the death penalty, but it was the manner of execution that aggrieved him. He appealed and demanded that as a German officer and the only Reichsmarshal of Germany, he should be shot by firing squad instead of the indignity of being hanged like a common criminal. When this request was refused, Göring evidently decided to die by his own hand. The Allies were fully aware that prisoners at Nuremberg might escape justice by killing themselves, and measures had been taken to prevent this from happening. During the trial, held inside Nuremberg's Palace of Justice, the defendants lived in single cells in a prison behind the court. Each prisoner was assigned and addressed by a number only. Inside the cell, the prisoner had a bench-like bed, a simple lavatory, and a wooden table and chair. Göring died by suicide cyanide poisoning on October 15, 1946, but how did he get the cyanide capsule past such stringent guards? One theory suggests that Göring had the cyanide capsule with him since his capture by the Americans. It's proposed that he concealed it in various places on his person, such as in his boot or hidden within a jar of cream. This theory assumes that the capsules were overlooked during searches because the guards were soldiers, not trained policemen. Another theory involves the possibility that a third party, either a US officer or an SS general, smuggled the cyanide to Göring while he was in prison. The exact identity of this alleged smuggler remains uncertain. This theory implies that someone else facilitated the transfer of the cyanide to Göring. A more specific theory involves Lieutenant Jack Wheelis, an American officer who had a friendly relationship with Göring. Some believe Wheelis might have been under Göring's influence to the extent that he was willing to provide the cyanide to Göring as a way out, despite the risks involved. There are also claims involving an SS general, Erich von dem Bach-Selewski, who served as a witness for the prosecution at Nuremberg. He was said to possess a similar cyanide capsule and was linked to the one Göring used. Additionally, there's a claim by an OSS member, Ned Patzel, who stated that he provided the cyanide to Göring on orders from his superiors as a gesture of mercy. Decades after Göring's death, another suspect, Herbert Lee Stivers, a guard in the prison where Göring was held, claimed to have unknowingly provided the cyanide to Göring. Stivers alleged that he was approached by locals and given the cyanide to be delivered to Göring, believing it was medicine for him. None of these theories have been definitively proven, and the actual source of the cyanide remains uncertain. The truth about how Göring obtained the cyanide that facilitated his suicide at Nuremberg continues to be a subject of debate and speculation.